Hello everyone, it is Rory here at the Eurovision site. We're still here in Malmo and with me is Euan. How are we doing?
Fantastic.
Yes.
It's day 8 for me, so
yeah,
tiredness is setting in.
Yeah, we're starting to get towards like the delirium stage, I think, so far with Eurovision 2024. We're back at it again with another set of first dress rehearsals, should I say. This time around we are looking at Semi-Final 2, and I think we should probably just get started. So we had 16 acts take to the stage for this one, so ahead of the jury show that will be taking place tonight, as well as the family show that will be happening tomorrow afternoon, ahead of the live show, which then takes place on Thursday night. So we have Malta, Albania, Greece, Switzerland, Czechia, Austria, Denmark, Armenia, Latvia, San Marino, Georgia, Belgium, Estonia, Israel, Norway and the Netherlands that are performing in this semi. So we were in the press centre sort of watching the rehearsals sort of on screen, so we know what it will be looking like for what you guys will see. And I guess, like, what was your sort of initial impression on what we saw today?
It was a mixed bag, because the first semi-final, it was everything was polished to a degree. This one, I feel, it's up and down a lot more. There's stuff that's a lot more polished, refined, amazing, but there's also some of the weakest performances in this the show that we've seen so far, both visually and vocally. So yeah, a bit mixed bag for me. Yeah,
no, I see that. I think it's interesting because we'd said this in our sort of first rehearsal recap as well earlier this week, that the second semi-final is a lot more open. It's very hard to sort of predict who could make it. I think there's pretty much a case for any of these 16 countries to make it through to the final. But now looking at the sort of showcases that we've got now, I think some of them are a little bit more clear-cut. Not all of them. I think it's not as sort of easy to work out based on sort of the performances that we saw from Monday and Tuesday. But I think overall it's been pretty good. I think it's been an interesting show. So yeah.
I don't think there's any country in this one that I would 100% completely rule out as a qualifier.
Yeah.
While there were some in the first semi-finals, like there are no chances, but I feel like everything here there is that possibility.
Yeah. And in a way that's nice though, because it means that we're not just sort of, oh yeah, we know this one's going through, we know this one's going through. I mean, of course there's a good number of them that are surefire qualifiers, but it's not as sort of like, okay, well these are the solid 10, which makes it a little bit more interesting for you guys and for us as well, because obviously we're just speculating and none of our
it gives you the opportunity to hear some of my absolutely terrible predictions.
I mean, it's very true, to be honest. So yeah, so let's get started. So who were some of your ones that you were really impressed by for today?
The impressed ones that shocked me were Malta and Albania. Just opening the show, I wasn't really expecting anything, so I think that maybe added to the wow. Albania in particular, the dress, the visuals, everything of the performance just really worked. I completely written it off as a no-hoper qualifier, but it really worked. Also, Norway, they've got rid of the on-screen graphics that they had in MGP, and it just works so much better. You're focusing so much more on Gunhild and her vocals, and it just goosebumps. Absolutely perfect.
Genuinely.
Like, yeah, those are probably the biggest standouts for me.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Malta was very much one that going into like rehearsals, I was kind of almost certain that it wasn't going to make it. And then we saw the rehearsal clips, and then we saw what we saw today. And I am now completely done a 180. Like, I think this is almost a comfortable qualifier. I think she's got amazing charisma. I think she's really down to earth. She's got vocal capability. I think that was very obvious. She's doing a lot of stuff on that stage, and she's still able to give a really strong performance. So I'm really, really happy about that.
I think also, just while we're talking about Malta, compared to last night on Tuesday, when Cyprus opened the show, there was a worry because Cyprus is a similar vein of the big big girly pop numbers.
Yeah.
But we had that big, massive opening right before. But now that we've got a more subdued, fun, not really serious opener, you're going straight into something that's polished like Malta.
Classy.
So I think it's standing out a lot more than it would have potentially done if the opening acts had been reversed.
Yeah, no, totally. I think it kind of kicks the show off in the right way. It's like a good mid-tempo banger that really just shoots. Like, it gets the show going in the way that it needs to, you know, like polished, upbeat, fun, and like full of sass as well, which I think is a fantastic thing. Another one I was really impressed by was, of course, Norway, but I think I also have to give props to Czechia here as well. I knew that obviously sort of going from ESCZ, there wasn't a lot of potential to sort of do a lot of dynamic staging. This time round, it looks so good on stage. Like all of the kind of the dancers sort of alongside Aiko, I think they look really, really good. The use of the pyro, the way that Aiko actually gets the people involved, like gets the audience involved too, you know. And the way that they kind of interact with the cubes as well, it just looks really, really interesting on screen. So, you know, again, we weren't sure whether or not Czechia was making it or not. I think it has a lot more chance now to make it through. Yeah, I think it's definitely really strong.
I think there was also, and I'm potentially speaking ahead of time, there was the worry that because Switzerland was right before, Czechia would struggle. But I don't think Switzerland, with their staging this year, has had as much of a clearing effect that you have with those big hitter, big names on either side than some other ones necessarily would have. So I think it's really working in Czechia's favour.
No, definitely, yeah. And I mean, it's sort of same with that with Greece as well, to be fair. Because Greece's staging is very innovative, I'd have to say. Like, this is also one, and it isn't the fact that it's my number one. I know that people might think it's that, but it's not. The fact it is quite innovative staging that like half of the song is just one take. It's just one camera, and then it just cuts at the end of the second chorus. It's so interesting, and the way that it's been done is really, really like effective. So I'm really happy about that.
And with Greece. Now I'm a lot more objective because it's actually only my fourth place. But the focus on just with the one camera shot in that first half, it's focusing just on her. When you see a lot of these numbers in the recent years, it's been like big, wide, open shots showcasing the dancers. Like, no, just focusing on them. Particularly when they're doing the likes of the traditional dance. I can never remember the correct name.
It's like not a Zorba, but it's like a horror thing.
Yeah, it's almost like a horror. So it's like you're seeing them, you're seeing their faces while instead of just them specks in a faraway stage, and it works so well. And so the way that they've used colour is perfect.
Yeah, I think the way that it looked on stage was just really, really interesting. I think Marina herself looks really good as well. Like, her styling was very good. She's got the sash, she's got the ability to sell the song, and that is something that we all really definitely need.
And I think it's also, sorry, just not to talk constantly go on about how great Greece is, but that opener it starts as a smartphone live, it's almost like a TikTok live stream or Instagram live stream, and if you just said, oh, it's a TikTok live stream or live stream on this thing, you just think, oh, that's going to look naff, but it doesn't. It really looks quite good. It's been handled really well, because Greek stagings have been a bit
hit and miss,
iffy in recent years.
Yeah.
So I just wasn't expecting Greece to have something this good.
Yeah. But hey, you can leave yourself to be pleasantly surprised, definitely. So sort of, we alluded to it earlier, but I mean, in contrast to us sort of showering love over all these ones, who are the ones that you think were not so much the biggest letdowns, but the ones that sort of didn't meet your expectations?
I mean, I'm going to be honest, I do not like Belgium's song, but I was still expecting a lot more from the performance. He's sort of just there. I don't really think they've used like the colouring of the stage works well. It feels almost like lost in the microphones, which I guess is an element of how it's meant to come across, but it doesn't.
Yeah, no, I see it.
It might work in the artistic sense, but in the captivating you sense,
he gets a bit swallowed up in it, to be honest, and then it makes it harder to engage.
He's not a tall person.
Yeah.
So, and those microphones are really tall.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like, it's just, it was a choice, and I'm really sorry to say Switzerland.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the worst staged this semi-final.
Ooh, now that's a claim.
The way that they've handled It's staged as if Nemo were singing a big, dramatic, moody power ballad. When that's not what the code is. If this were a big, dramatic, moody power ballad, this would be perfect. The way that they're running on the spinning top. Is it a spinning top? Yeah, it's probably a modified spinning top.
Thing, yeah.
The way that they're interacting with the light cranes at the start of the performance, it doesn't work, and it's too black and white, because you're expecting this moment when there's the euphoria in the song towards the end, and it's just, there's a little bit of gold lighting. It's like there's also too much of contrast between what Nemo's wearing, this big
kind of frilly,
camp, over the top, phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean,
it is.
I will give props to Nemo here, because like they did listen to what people were saying, because beforehand it was very white and pink, kind of furry kind of a look, whereas now it's a little bit more like a tulle kind of.
It definitely
ready,
looks a lot better from what we first saw.
It looks better,
but it also feels like at a point when you've got something that big, there should be a costume change, because there's so many costume changes in the music video and it works so well.
No, I believe that too. I think they had some good ideas, and when we saw the rehearsal clip, that's when I kind of was a little bit worried, because they were playing a lot with negative space, but not in the way that I would have wanted it for that kind of song. It just doesn't fit that brand. So when we saw the full thing, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there wasn't a lot of a big reception for this song in the other thing, so in the press centre, should I say. But yeah, in terms for the other ones that I was not a big fan of, or maybe like didn't meet my expectations, I'm a little bit and I feel like I'm gonna get absolute like hell for this, but I wasn't fully impressed by the Netherlands.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's because they had ideas, and it's fun, and like that's the whole point. It's meant to be fun, but there's parts of it where it just looks a little bit disjointed, and I guess in a way that's kind of his shtick, because it's like, I don't know what's gonna happen, this kind of thing. But I'm just not fully buying it yet.
I think that the opening shot because his face is sort of on the cross of the stage is his face, but then the side bits are sort of splayed out.
Yeah, like a 3D render, but just like kind of flat.
Yeah, and it kind of just looks weird rather than like a fun and funny.
It's very funny because like I think as soon as we saw that, I think the first thing that I said was, "Oh my god." Like,
because and when you get to the point at the end, because there's obviously the poignant moment in the song, because it's been a bit of a mess beforehand, you're not getting the same impact that a lot of people had when they watched the music video.
Yeah, no, totally. I think there is a little bit of a disconnect, but I think they're still tweaking things, because obviously, like the rehearsal clips that we had at the time, like from the rehearsal footage from the first rehearsal going into the second clip, like they are different.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there could be even more changes between now and tomorrow. I guess we should be really sort of just quick about this, because obviously we've got other places to be right now. If you had to say who's winning the semi, who are you saying?
I think it's Norway. Gunhilda's vocal, just her existence on that stage is so captivating that I think it's going to blow a lot of people away. It's one of those songs where it's folk metal and lots of people don't like folk metal, but it's one of those songs that I think it can really appeal to people, and I think they've pulled it off, getting rid of those graphics, just focusing on them, because there's also a lot of shots focusing on the other members of the band, and it's working a lot more. It really draws you in. I think they've got this in the bag, because originally I would have said the Netherlands, but
no, 100%. I think after looking at that, Norway's clear first place. I think as someone who wasn't a big fan of the song sort of going into this, I mean, it was nice, but there wasn't enough of it. But now having seen the live performance, like how strong and capable those like vocals can be, I'm completely won over, honestly, genuinely. I think, this is something that Norway's not brought for a very long time, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it kind of just goes forward, and what the reaction to this will be. I still think it's going to get top 5 in the final. I think that could be very likely. I don't think it's going to win, but the fact that it's managed to win a semi-final is already a great start.
Yeah.
You know, and especially for Norway as well. It's clear.
I personally wouldn't rule it out, because if we have spread voting, I think there is that possibility of it putting over the edge, but I wouldn't say it's a guarantee at this point.
Yeah, no, totally. But yes, obviously that's what we think. What do you think? Obviously, like when you guys were seeing this, obviously, you know, we'll have seen this about 2, 3, 4 times by now. So, you know, let us know what you think. What have you made of your rehearsals? Do you think we're right? Do you think we're wrong? Who would you put through? Who would you think is winning the semi? Who's coming last? Let us know what you think all down below. In the meantime, continue to subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think in the comments, and check out all of our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, what else? Tumblr, Blue Sky, pretty much Threads, that too. We're pretty much everywhere that you want us to be. Also follow That Eurovision Podcast on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at That Euro Podcast. It's That Euro site as well for all of our social media. And get ready for a really, really interesting show. So shall we say goodbye? Bye-bye. Bye.